Live. There we go. I didn't add myself to the stage. Sorry about that. I am still getting used to this, and let's add a screen. Hi, everyone. If you're here live or going to watch it on recording afterwards, welcome. I'm Dave. I still don't know how to operate computers. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, that's stuff I'm supposed to do in the setup. If anybody sees this, does anybody know of a live streaming software like this? I use it's called StreamYard, and it's great. Currently, I'm on Facebook, my personal page, the Pricebook Ninjas business page, and the Pricebook Ninjas YouTube page. And it's great. I can't connect TikTok. I have to go live on TikTok for 14 days as a trial period. I also don't know. I have to do some extra setup with some extra keys that I have to import over. And I was using my best friend and trusted advisor, ChatGPT, about it. And it just didn't have good answers. And it obviously gave some other solutions. But my first objective is going live on TikTok for 2 weeks. So I have to set a date and time for that. I'm probably going to go live a little bit more frequently just to try to get past their requirements. Okay, so today, price books. I have the plumbing book up as always. Last week, we were talking about backtracking for an error during upload. So we discovered that we had a bit of a hole, and we created a new feature to make sure that we can cover that. So when you're doing an upload, and you'll have the videos for that. And it's just cool. It's just if you get an error on House Call Pro. But one item that I thought was really good, we always had a red if there was something wrong here, like a part. So we've had this also, if we enter the wrong part name, it'll show red. And this is that you don't have a part in the material item list. And that's supposed to show red. The upload doc. Let's give it a moment. It just takes a second. My internet is running incredibly slow. We had a crazy storm come through. Here we go. It just takes a moment. It just could be my internet at the moment. But it pops up with a little note telling you have an error. And on the upload doc, it also shows you red. So we'll just, for a quick example, we will do an upload to House Call Pro, or part of the upload. So this is so you can see as you come to this tab and you can visually see, okay, there's something wrong. We always recommend to just quickly scroll through just to see if there's something that's off. Price is definitely important. If not, you can't upload no price. You have to have a zeroed out to feed to House Call Pro, like a zero there. We have some zeros here. Download by CSV file. Yeah, my internet is crazy slow. We had a massive storm roll through, like a crazy shelf cloud. And the clouds were moving at an intense speed, and it just blew through like a torrential downpour in seconds. And, okay, Pricebook settings, upload file, and I'm going to drag and drop. And okay, I do need to change up. Somebody said it to me in one of my demo meetings that he watched all of my videos, but he can only see the side of my face. Sorry. I have multiple screens and they all have kind of different purposes. And my main screen is kind of like not my brain, but where I'm doing my Pricebook work and my customers, my working in the business. My other monitors are working kind of on the business. So, okay, we're good here. And I like to share this monitor. I don't know why. Maybe I should just move the camera over there, but this is when I do demos. So we got the first invalid that's showing, and it's going to show you red here. And this could happen anywhere. You could have multiples. So an interesting thing that we learned last week is that you can literally build your book into here and delete and add things. So we removed the price and we have a second invalid. We're going to put that price back. We could paste prices into these fields and it'd be fine. But with nothing in there, it'll show red. And you can't upload. You can upload, but it'll only upload those services. You'll get an email with a CSV file telling you that you had an error, and it'll show you these ones. So that's now we made these red spots. So hopefully you don't get to House Call Pro and you need to backtrack, so that there's multiple places that you can find an issue with. The upload doc is most important to feed the information to House Call Pro. But then here, if you're calculating, and again, so we have it in the part and it says PNF, part not found. So let's say this part was over here. Then you would just have to backtrack to find that red. That disappears after a minute. We're going to delete this because we found our error. And whatever you need to do, let's say that that's a part that you need, right? Like test valve. It doesn't exist, but this is something you need. It says part not found. It's not found in part column 20. And you need to add, where's the note? Oh, right here. Fix the spelling or add this part to material service fee list. So you can add them to both, right? So go to material. We're just going to quickly add this here. And the formula lives up there. $55. It'll auto populate the markup here. And then it's auto populated inside of that service now. And that red and part not found will disappear. This will disappear in a moment. And same with the upload doc. Now with these even red, the data is there to feed to House Call Pro. So you'll have a successful upload. So we just tried to add in some safety features to House Call Pro. Let me delete that. Sorry, maybe it's not my internet. Maybe it's just me that's slow. I am tired. My son has been up the last 2 nights, like the whole night. He's learned like 8 new things. Just so many new things. So whether it's his like not falling asleep or not sleeping because of all the learning and stuff, I don't know. Teething. I saw a funny meme that says parents just say they must be teething, time and time again until they're right. And that's kind of the truth, because everything we think he's teething. Sorry. Okay, and we've been working incredibly hard on Pricebook Ninjas. We had a fault in our images, and we noticed, and this isn't, we sourced the images properly, but through naming and how we add them, I thought we had a good enough system, but with a small error, we uploaded a few wrong images. So we went back the last few days correcting all of our clients' accounts for that. We we're starting to create a new system. And that takes a lot of energy, especially while doing demos and working on books. And, we're working on a lot of things. So images, we're asked a lot for images and for DIY. And with House Call Pro, we know that it's hard to upload images. It just takes a little bit. But our images are damn cool. We spent a lot of time sourcing our images, editing our images. They are all unique. So most services have unique images. Some, like water piping or motors for HVAC, will have the same repeating image. Transparent backgrounds, no people in them, all white, none of the House Call Pro weird borders, presentable stuff. This is plumbing, this is HVAC, and we are asked quite often for images. But we have to figure out a system. One is duplicating the images. Each trade has 225 total images to 250. Electrical has a little bit more, but they're not unique images. They just repeat for like wiring. But to duplicate those, we created some systems where when my developer created some tools to create folders. So we're working on a better naming system, one that can be easily added onto, but then attaching it to the spreadsheet in some manner for then you to be able to find this. Now, the issues we're running into is that there's no easy way. Even if you were to purchase an image from the stock image websites, you purchase your image, you download it, and then you need to upload it. We've made our images as best as we can for House Call Pro. We know the House Call Pro upload is not easy, right? Let's just let's just try it real quick. With the sizing. So let's go into here, add image. Let's see what I have on my computer here. We'll just add like one of the backgrounds that we have. So we know the box and we know we have the magnifying. So it's how do you decide to do this? Now, if you go like this, you may end up with borders. This one isn't so bad. But with some of these images, oh gosh. So getting in there and sizing it properly. But now the whole upload, the download, upload. So what we do, we attempted to put the images inside the spreadsheet, but it bogged it down way too much. It couldn't happen. And you still have to download. I think that's the worst part, is that you have to download it, but we have to too. So we go to the spreadsheet, then we go into our Google Drive folder. We're creating a new tool to duplicate it because we didn't have a way. Even Google, you can't copy folders. You can just copy individual docs. We had purchased an extension that did it okay, but it was the only extension I could find. So we started developing our own. We created a copy tool for our Pricebook folders because we advanced that, and that was the extension. We used to only have to copy a few folders or a few documents to send you, but we improved our system. We improved our training videos. So the folder you get is much more robust with training information and information about the price book. So it was a lot of documents. So we created a tool for that. Now with so we upload the images. Sorry, I panned off. We go to the spreadsheet, we get our service, we go to our folder, we get our image. My staff has to download that. They have since put it on their computers because they have to do it more often, but 3 staff members have 3 different trades worth of images on their computer. And this is what you would have to do. You'd have to go download it, bring it to House Call Pro, upload, size it. And I just don't feel good about that. I did tell a person today on a demo call that it takes us 3 days to upload images, and that's wrong. It doesn't. Just today, like what we were doing, I was able to, see the speed with images, but it's still not fast. I was more jumbling the information of how much time it takes us to build out when we build out manually. We can't figure out a bot, but we also probably don't want House Call Pro that know that we want to build a bot to go in and enter information into their price book. There's no other way besides CSV upload. It's all manual. And I don't feel comfortable. Our images are great. I just don't feel comfortable sending them to you with the amount of work that I know is involved. So it's, how do we make it easier? I wonder, let's see if my computer does it. And this is just thinking. If I come into upload, I can just do iCloud. I wonder if I can connect Google Drive to this. I wonder if it might be easier with Microsoft users and not Apple. But I wonder. Okay. Sorry, I'm thinking through the process. One thing that I'm learning, and I kind of wish I did more when I was starting Pricebook Ninjas, was creating more systems. I know this sounds interesting to say, but I was focused on providing the solution by me, which it still is. It always was, but me doing the work. And instead of being so buried in doing that work, trying to find a solution. So for the last 7 months, we've revamped Pricebook Ninjas for the better, and we're constantly improving. And it's now, anytime there's an issue, we make a solution. We immediately start breaking it down. It doesn't kick things down the road. It doesn't keep it on my mind. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be better. It needs to be improved than what was. We'll always time to improve. Just the images. You guys ask a lot, and I really want to provide them in a manner. And with us, they're pricey, but it's the labor time involved because of the manualness to it. Sorry, I've been ranting. I didn't prepare for this because we've been so deep. Just this week is just, not putting out fires. I don't want to say that, but we were cleaning up and making sure that we did right by our clients. We wanted to go back and change those images. So we were able to track it to right where, that happened. We edited all of that. That took up my space because I know the image is the best, unfortunately. And that's what we're trying to do now, is have it where somebody else can do it. And we want to make this, it's just, as of now, we'd have, number them and enter them to the spreadsheet. It would make you go chasing a number, which there's a search feature inside of Google. So you can easily search it. It just is a very laborious task. Very laborious task. I'm lucky my staff is so amazing. Okay. Yeah, I'm not prepared for this. We've just been working our tails off. Systems improving. We are working on a custom CRM, in-house CRM, because the next step would be a portal. And that's taking up some space because we are talking about fields and locations and best flow. But we want to make this like a chart, right? So we can record your information, document it. We already are, but it's not clean. We kind of have them on not a few different places. It's just not clean, and we need tabs. We want to be able to look in almost like a doctor file, like a medical file. You go to the doctors, and the doctor is seeing a ton of people in a day. So he's able to, or she, is able to see the report and come right in. They're able to see your history, what's going on with you that day. And that would help us become smoother, faster, better. We have not been able to find a solution for a CRM that would work. Even the project management, it's just so unique. In the communication, we have a lot of communication. So tracking it, we built a poopier CRM, but it did the job. It was just manual. So we're trying to automate things. Automate like logging emails and material. Gosh, I want to do material. We are doing it. We always asked for a set of material items for pricing, but it was limited, and we would use our national average for pricing. So what we want to do now is, not what we want to do, but what we have implemented is we're starting to get more truck stock from you. So we always had an area that we wanted to, areas in the price book during our setup where we would discuss, and those were our highlights. So now we're taking more material costs from there. So for each trade, you have the option between like 35 and up to 50 material items to get for pricing. And we want your truck stock. That's going to be your truck stock items. And we're going to implement that. And we're going to ask, we're asking for your 30-day purchase history. And that's for us to process, look at. We are interested in stopping our national average pricing and recreate it to member-fed pricing. We are having quite a few clients coming through, so we're hoping we can collect that data, parse it, start matching those prices, and as they're coming, we find our average. And I'll still do my same idea of how we find our national average pricing, where we decide between a medium or middle average pricing to a high, and we go somewhere in like that middle, like a 3/4 on the scale. And we do put a percentage on top of it to account for some variances. So we're hoping to get those true costs. It's going to be a little bit till we can do that. The toughest part is vendors and then how they send it over. Generally, I get pretty long lists of like 20 to 30,000 part items. And we just haven't yet been able to be at the point where we're able to process the information. We just get it and it's like, well, this is an overwhelming amount. But when we or our clients ask a supply house for a list of 200 parts, they kind of immediately shut down. So we have done like slyly calling and asking for like 25, 30 parts and do that over a couple of days. We've had one supply house that was pretty cool and they did it. A client, they did it. But we're manually entering those prices. So we have to create a system to be able to connect that in one way or another, whether it's not AI, but an automation of sorts where it has to check a database of names and so have you, just because of the different names out there. I think where we're looking is probably a 6-month timeline for each new feature, the start of each new feature. So we are requesting those limited material items now, and they're truck stock items, and exactly what your price book should be. Your price book should be mostly all material truck stock and the stuff that you can do out of your truck. And then it's how to keep the pricing updated. What supply houses will do is send a list of their whole stock. So what we would have to do is, and they'll do it per your account. They'll do your recent purchases for X amount of days. They'll do not lifetime purchases. Then pricing for all of their stock items all in one shot, and it's generally pretty long, 20, 30,000 items. So we could do that, and that's really interests me, but processing 30,000 line spreadsheets and multiples of those is pretty hard. And I shouldn't say it's pretty hard, but we just have to get into dev mode, build automations, have a database for it to read this information. We'd have to probably match part numbers and then have an issue with a flag if that's not there. We have it for our automated part price updates, but it's an entirely different system. We'll be able to take a sum logic that took a long time to get built. That took a really long time to get built. And it's limited. So, and then it's, the individual pricing. I'm not even going to pretend to start talking into like stock and counting stock. But as soon as we create parts lists, an item is truck stock. And it would be pretty cool to have a way of ordering truck stock. I mean, I'm super used to that from Service Titan. They had the ability where you had your truck stock in there, and after a job, while you're closing it out, you would go and enter all the parts that you used off of your truck. And sometimes in 24 hours, 48 hours, those truck stock items were replenished at the shop in your bin, and it was taken care of by the supply house. That's, we're a long ways away from that, but we're building that data, and it's like, it would just be natural to offer that that is a service. And again, it would probably be 6 months, maybe even later after, because I can't just produce super cool new features and stuff. Okay, I rambled the whole time. I'm very sorry. You have some insight into Pricebook Ninjas and some things we're doing. Until next week, thank you so much for joining.